Cop Block Radio is filmed live in secret locations across the country. All co-hosts are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. What's up, guys?
How you doing, Seb?
How's everybody feeling today?
Pretty good, pretty good.
I'm just happy to be back. I missed you guys last week.
We had some fun last week. I really wish you could have joined.
Yeah, it looked like you guys were having a blast. I was watching the live stream. It seemed like a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you're talking about your trip up to the Shire, right, New Hampshire?
Yeah.
Was that your first time up there?
That was my first time.
Nice. And how long were you up there?
I went up there Wednesday night, and I stayed until Saturday morning we came home. Or Saturday after we...
Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, we had tons of police encounters. I got pulled over 3 times down there, dude.
Well, it's up there, actually.
Up there.
Yeah. Sorry. So yeah, why did you get pulled over 3 times and where? Because I find that hard to believe.
Although as swift as those guys are up there.
It was twice in one night going right down. I don't know what road it was. It was like some road between up by where Pete is, up Manchester and Keene. And it was like this stupid little back road, and the speed limit was supposedly 45, but it was wide open road. I was the only car on the road.
You gotta be talking about like 101.
So I was doing 60. I was
Right.
just cruising along doing 60, and my dash cam caught them red-handed. They were sitting there with their lights off, tucked behind a tree. Isn't that illegal?
Well,
You're supposed to be.
and if it was, would it matter? They'd still do it.
It doesn't matter.
And you would then have to go to court to prove it, and you're out a whole bunch of stuff, which is something I can talk about and attest to because I'm doing it in our beloved city of Parma.
Boo,
Just this
everybody
week.
boo Parma.
Right.
Well, the second time I actually said to the cop, if you write me this ticket, I'm going to have to come back to town. I'm leaving town. I'm one of these cop blockers. I'm leaving town. So if you write this ticket, I'm staying. And he didn't write the ticket, but I don't think it was what I said. He didn't write the ticket all 3 times we got pulled over, man.
Nice.
There is this awesome thing in Keene that's like a cop repellent from writing tickets, and his name is J.P. Freeman.
Oh, yeah?
He's in the car with you. They won't ticket you because they don't want to deal with it.
Right.
Well,
That's what I've said.
I was sure that I was going to ticket that second time traveling along that road because they got me dead to rights the first time, and then the second time it was a Keene cop, and I was just so sure because of the way it went down I was getting ticketed. He had me dead to rights. Why wouldn't he ticket me?
Right.
But he let me go.
Maybe he just got lucky and the first cop hadn't put his report in yet. He
Well,
just didn't show
I mean,
he had been pulled over.
I'll tell you why they don't ticket you, because New Hampshire is, a hotbed of quote-unquote liberty activism. And like you guys have both mentioned, whether you're from there or not, it'll be a headache for them. And even if it's just blog post or their faces getting out there or whatever, they probably just thought it goes away as quick as possible with as little notoriety as possible. Unlike, some other cops who seem to like to make YouTube videos like their thing, New Hampshire cops have learned, and I believe this was perfectly highlighted in my wiretapping case in New Hampshire. I was living at the LRN.FM studios at the time, and I was indicted for 3 felony counts of wiretapping in Hillsborough County, which is in Manchester, which is what you were talking about where you were headed. But I was in Cheshire County, which is Keene. And so the Hillsborough County sheriffs called the Keene Police Department and said, hey, pick him up. We got him on a warrant. And they're like, we're not going to do it. And they're like, why not? And you're like, because we're going to be, we don't want to be on YouTube. And so that was that. And they're like, don't worry, he'll come to court. And then the news called me and told me I was indicted, and I went to court anyways. And so
you're allowed to have cameras and record the proceedings.
Right. And so what's that?
Are you allowed to record the proceedings in Manchester?
Oh, yeah. In all of New Hampshire, I mean, they tried for a little while in Keene, but Keene activism is very persistent, even though there's probably been 2 dozen, maybe even more. I'm not exactly sure. There's been a good rotation of people that come and go, but yet there's a good core nucleus of people that are always there. And Ian Freeman, as we discussed, or as he has been discussed previously on the show, has been a key figure there for a long time. But I remember folks like Lauren Canario and Sam Dotson, and these are people who Sam Dotson did 53 days in jail for videotaping in Keene Court, not the one you were in because that one wasn't built yet, but for videotaping in Keene Court, did 53 days in jail. They didn't know what to do with him because he was completely refusing to do anything with the system. That on day 53, not only did they kick him out of jail, they kicked him out in his orange jumpsuit with his property box and just said, go. No booking, no getting dressed over, no putting your stuff in the brown paper bag and kicking out the door.
Two activists protesting? They just had enough of it?
No, it was because he refused. Like, there weren't even that many activists there. It wasn't even like, and call flooding wasn't even a thing. I'm sure they were calling them, you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't like a thing right now where you can put out a number and get the phone shut down. But they just, a man sat in jail for 53 days, didn't plead guilty, innocent, didn't make a statement, didn't bond out, didn't go with their system, wouldn't go to their court hearings, and like I think the most he could have done, it was like a, I can't remember the exact charge or if it was even contempt, to be honest. But all I know is that at the time it was like, we're going to be sued if we keep him in here any longer, is what we believe their concern was, and they literally threw him out the door in his orange jumpsuit.
That's pretty funny.
Wow.
Yeah. And so all those things have led up to why some of the things you experienced. But, and JP's another example of what I'm about to say is that I've often found that people are like, why cop lock? You can't change the world. You won't stop the police state. And I was like, well, yeah, well, at the minimum, you could have the cops stop messing with you, you know, because I know that, like, especially for traffic violations, which the only reason why I feel I got this most recent traffic ticket in Parma is because those cops wanted to let me know that they could give me tickets or stop me and mess with me.
They're waiting to test their authority over you.
Right, exactly. But for the most part, I could talk to you about at least 6 or 7 cases in the last 18 months where I was clearly given clear actions of the usual signs of being pulled over to where the officers didn't pull me over. You know, and Dio was with me one of those times where we caught the whole thing on video, the actual U-turn, the catch-up, and then the turning left at the next light to get away from me. And me yelling out the window like, yo, man, did you run my plates? Like, what were you? Because I had a burnt-out headlight, and I was driving around long before I was arrested in Kansas, man. I've been driving around with a burnt-out headlight trying to get pulled over to pull that prank on cops, and I can't get pulled over for the life of me, you know? But all of a sudden, like the one time I don't use my blinker in Parma, there's a cop that just so happens to be, like, shadowing me that pulls me over, you know?
Yeah, I can definitely say that I've noticed a little bit of that, too, in this area, more so with the leader of both accountability projects, Scott Marshall, since he started really messing with them, not messing with them, but keeping them accountable, getting them on YouTube and making sure he's video recording.
Yeah, forget messing with them, just questioning their authority, you know, just questioning, like, what's up, you know?
Yeah, they don't mess with them very much anymore. The more that he does, the less they want to interact with him because they know they're going on YouTube.
You know what they're saying about us? I really want to know, like, what makes them so to run the other way? Do they say we're dangerous and under investigation?
Dude, troll them, man. Like, so here's the thing. I'm never in one area long enough to, like, file a Freedom of Information request that's worth it. But you guys have lived in the areas for a while and you've been doing this. So file a Freedom of Information request for any email or document that has your name on it, Cop Lock, Lehigh Valley Cop Lock. Troll the fuck out of them, dude. And then blog about it. Like, I'd like to do that. You know, and I'm considering doing that in some circumstances that are going on now, but I haven't decided yet. My thing is always doing them remotely is difficult. Even today, I don't know how long we got until break, but even today I called the Parma court to try to get the audio from my hearing yesterday. And first of all, they told me that I can only get a transcript, and I had to give them a down payment of $300 to do it. And I told them that I just want the audio, and that should be able to be emailed to me. You know, but I'm currently not there right now. But you know, we can talk about that later. So, anyways, I just told her I'm going to sue them. So that's what I'll do.
They like that.
Yeah.
It seems to get them moving.
Right. I won't even sue them. I'll just have 15 other websites request them as well.
We're about to take a commercial break, but we'll be right back with more stories. We have our top story of the night. Our dear brother, Adam Rapika, lost his life in the battle with the state. We'll be right back with that story and more.
I don't know if lost is the right word. I would say took.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't, I don't know. Anywho.
Are we out?
Nitpicking. Oh.
We're out, right?
Yeah, we're out.
Okay.
I'll play some.
All right.
And buy a jar. There's 150 applications for 25 bucks. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
Do you know the difference between erudite and pedantic? If you do, you're probably pedantic. But seriously, a surprising number of erudite people mispronounce erudite, which has 3 syllables, not 4. Say erudite, not erudite. Because you are judged by how you speak, you want to avoid common misstatements, especially if you're a job seeker. For instance, do you know the difference between imply and infer? Only a speaker can imply, only a listener can infer. And when you say you'll be out of pocket, do you mean out of touch? Out of pocket means you're on your own dime, not yet reimbursed. And if anyone ever asks, why do you always answer a question with a question? You should reply, do I do that? Just kidding. From survivalspeech.com, I'm Holland Cook.
The 3 most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.lrn.fm. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same great prices, and LRN gets a cut. Please do your online shopping at shop.lrn.fm.
This is your Robertson Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Wednesday, gold is even at $1,222 per ounce. Silver is up 14 cents at $15.10 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $422 US. Robertson Roberts Brokerage has been helping customers buying and selling precious metals for nearly 40 years. How may we help you? Give us a call at 800-874-9760 or visit us online at rrbi.co.
Did you know you can get news updates about what's happening with the Liberty Radio Network delivered in the way you prefer? You can sign up for our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. Plus, you can stay in the loop by joining our Facebook profile at facebook.lrn.fm or follow us at Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm. It's all free, so sign up now at updates.lrn.fm for news updates delivered to your email box, facebook.lrn.fm to follow our Facebook page, and twitter.lrn.fm to receive our tweets. Free Talk Live.
Well, let's say that the Chinese troops decide to come over here because the local governments here have asked them to come here and help out with things, to controlling traffic and stuff like that. Would you be all right with that? If you were polled, would you say you're cool and great?
It would depend on, I wouldn't like it, but it would also depend on the situation. If I had a group of radicals, say Christians, going around, terrorizing and bombing and killing other religious sects because they didn't believe in what they believe in, and we needed help. Yeah, I may at that point.
Now, what if
it's not like we have a group of people.
What if some of those Chinese troops by accident killed, say, your wife? How would you feel about those Chinese troops at that point?
I'm sure I'd have a whole different opinion.
Yeah, I bet you would.
That's an honest answer.
You are an awesome caller.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
We are back.
This is Matt of Carbon County Cop Block. Also, we have with us Ademo Freeman of copblock.org.
And Severin Freeman of Lehigh Valley Cop Block. We were talking about Keene, New Hampshire a little bit. For anybody listening that is unaware, Keene is like the center of activism in the country right now. They have a whole movement where they had 20,000 people agree to move, and they just triggered that move, and people are moving every day. I see new people add it to groups and new people moving and posting pictures from Keene, and what that does is makes it so that they have been able to get people in office there. They've been able to change laws. They've been able to make the town feel like it's free. I mean, aside from getting pulled over a few times, and
I was just gonna say, didn't you just say that you got pulled over 3 times in this place? Like, I get it. I lived in Keene for a while too, and it's awesome. But you know, there's no libertarian paradise, or there's no, you know, I think all the freedoms that exist in this country are subjective. You know, like, you know,
a paradise. I mean,
well, yeah, it's not a utopia. It's still definitely a work in progress, but they're making progress.
They didn't get me on 3 tickets, but they managed to get me on a $5 parking ticket.
They gotta get you somehow.
Yeah.
I mean,
you pay that? You pay that right away, right?
No, I didn't pay it yet. I'm gonna send it in. For the first time in my life, I'm just gonna pay the parking ticket and not try to fight it or do anything. $5. It's just not worth it.
Why even pay it?
I don't want to go on my credit report.
$5, I guess.
It's just $5 to get it over with and not have to ever think about it again.
I guess.
Right.
That's what they figure too. That's why they make you find what it is. Funny thing is, I had put quarters in the machine, and it was just because we were at lunch talking with Ian and having a good time, and we lost track of time. I had 3 more quarters in my pocket that I didn't think we needed.
Well, that's how they get you, you know?
Yeah, it was funny. We were standing outside smoking a cigarette, and the parking lady saw us and ran the other way, and we were joking, saying, "She got your car probably, ha ha." I was like, no, I got money. I got money in that thing. No way. Sure enough, there was a ticket on my car.
Right. It's too bad someone didn't get you.
Yeah.
You know.
I want to talk about some of the other things that were different there than in most places. First of all, you can't buy alcohol past like midnight anywhere in the state.
Well, I think you go to bars, but you pay like bar prices until like 3 a.m. or something.
No, they stopped selling it at a certain point.
Oh, really?
Go in the bar and drink.
I don't drink that much. I'm the wrong person to be asking.
That's just really odd to me that you could go into a bar and drink and risk a DUI or risk some sort of public drunkenness or some kind of offense, but you can pay their high prices. Or do the responsible thing and get takeout, but you're not legally allowed to do that.
Right. Well, are you looking to get some drinking done after like 12 a.m. for some reason? You didn't plan ahead, or?
No, I found it odd. Well, we had wrapped up the.
Dude, have you ever been to like like Oklahoma or something like that, where like there's some places that are dry counties, and then there's some places that don't like sell liquor on Sundays and stuff. It's like Sundays are bad days to buy booze.
Well, our whole state is like that. On Sundays, you can't buy liquor.
No, you can now. They changed that a few years back.
Okay, but up in my small mountain town, up in Carbon County, you can't.
The ones up my way, they're open until 5 o'clock, though, not their usual hours.
Right.
But it's the state monopoly on it.
Yeah, those are the. A lot of those rules are where are they derived? You know, like in the South, it's because of religious reasons. You know what I'm saying? In New Hampshire, they're like you know, in the Midwest, and especially in like Kansas or something like that, they might let you buy liquor like all the time for a number of reasons. Like roads are like straight and flat. You know, in New Hampshire, that ain't the case. You know, and so though none of these laws end any of the things that they're designed to be accommodating or fixing, but they're just like geographical or cultural, you know, variances amongst people throughout the country. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the more things that were different, the more that seemed like they were the same. I mean, I was expecting some sort of libertarian paradise where the police are stay in their station and only come when they're called or something like that. Like,
I also got pulled over a little more because you have out-of-state plates, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the first time we got pulled over was actually in their car.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
I have a video of that. There is a video of that on New Hampshire Cop Block's page. I have yet to put up my copy of it.
Isn't that shot with a 360 camera?
Yeah, that was the one with the 360 dash cam. It
nice.
was pretty funny because she claimed we were speeding, and the 360 dash cam monitors our speed, and you can watch it the whole time that we never reached the speed that she claimed we did.
Right. Well, that'll be a win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Did she write a ticket?
No, she let us go really quick.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I did. I saw that. I saw the video.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Yeah, I like that camera setup. That was nice.
I had my head poking out the window with my mic A6 on a camera stick, like poking out in her face, asking her questions.
Yeah, I know. Scott over at OAP, he just picked one up. I know we're really excited to go out and use it.
What's that?
That's a 360 camera. Just came in just came in last week. So we've done a couple tests. Just driving around in his truck, and
yeah, but he's got back on his truck, so you can't see them approaching.
Oh, absolutely, you can.
You can?
Yeah, it looks right out the back perfectly.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's crystal clear.
Well, I guess that's well, no. How can I miss one of our biggest events in Keene? We got to go up to Manchester. I got to meet the guys from the Rebel Love show. We had some fun and hung out for a little bit, and then we went out for dinner with Pete, the co-founder of Cop Block.
Yeah, dude, I'm jealous about that shit, man.
Dude,
damn. You guys got to see Pete? I haven't seen Pete in like 2 years, or a year and a half.
His calmness is like the way he like looks at things, and like I don't know, just being around him had me feeling recharged, and I was feeling like stress.
He's a very deliberate human being, isn't he?
Yeah, like trying to take on the state all the time kind of get to be a little stressful and get you jaded. And after talking with him, it's just like, you know what? You don't even have to think of it like that. And just the way about him just was really cool. He really opened my mind to a different way of thinking about and cop blocking and all that.
That's awesome, dude. I'm glad you guys got a chance to meet up, dude. I'm hoping to cross paths with him sometime in the near future.
Yeah, we went out and we filmed the stop. It was pretty messed up. This lady was all excited to meet the cops at the bank parking lot to like tell on somebody, her next door neighbor who was in a fight, and the cops like showed up like 10 deep right next door. We're cutting to a commercial break, but when we come back, I'll tell the rest of that story.
Oh, well done.
Right. We'll be right back with more Cop Block Radio.
Cop Block Radio.
Pop-up video.
Yeah.
All right, we're out.
Oh, great, that was on air. Now I sound like a fool. Okay, let's do it live.
I'm hoping Derek comes back next week. He said he's getting internet like today, I think he was saying.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I just wanted to take my headphones off. I thought I could still hear you. Sorry. I was going to take my headphones off. You're just like talking to me. I'm like, fuck this guy. You know, like, no, just kidding.
I'm going to play the commercials.
Commercials?
Because you're scared of the property. What am I being paid for? You're being served. What is this? You're being served.
Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the wind working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org. I'm Ian Freeman, host of Free Talk Live. We've been covering Uber for years on the radio with their ongoing legal cases across the globe defending your right to give people rides without asking government permission. I wanted to support Uber more directly, so I signed up to be a driver. It's fun to meet new people and help Uber push forward innovation. As of this recording, Uber is active in 67 countries, so there's a good chance they're available in your area. If you'd like to drive for Uber and make some money helping people get where they want to go, sign up at drive.freetalklive.com. and you'll get a $100 bonus after you complete a certain number of trips. With Uber, you can drive anytime you want. You set your schedule. To get started, you need a good driving record, 4-door vehicle, insurance, registration, and to pass a background check. It costs nothing to sign up, so visit drive.freetalklive.com. That's drive.freetalklive.com. And if you just want to try Uber as a rider, visit ride.freetalklive.com. Your first ride's free.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website, fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper, FPP News, at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
We are back.
What's up, guys?
Emo Freeman. I am Severin Freeman.
And I am Matt Taylor of Carbon County Cop Block.
You're not a Freeman? That's weird.
It's
like one of these things just doesn't belong.
Somehow I wasn't born into the massive Freeman gene pool yet.
Oh, dude. Our great-grandparents, man, they were like rabbits.
Yeah, they must have been.
Right. Nuts.
They came to this country on the freedom train.
Right. SSS freedom.
Well, finishing up my story, what was I talking about before we cut to a commercial?
I believe we were moving into the story that has to do with a demo here and what happened on the 5th.
Yeah, I was just finishing up a story from Keene, though, and I forget what I said.
We were talking about you being pulled over, but I don't know where it went from there.
Yeah.
You left us at a cliffhanger, too. You'll tell us more about it when we get back.
Yeah, I know. Oh, well.
Oh, good job.
That's what
breaks. You gotta pay for things and...
Watching you chase that story in your head like an ant versus aardvark commercial.
And watch, like, one third into my next story, and he'll be like, oh, yeah!
Yeah, right?
Right.
I start taking notes.
Right, there you go.
That was one thing about Pete that was really cool that I noticed was, like, very unique. I don't know if he did this when you knew him. He had a paper tablet that he carried around that he took notes about, like, all the ideas that he had. For all the ideas that he heard while he was out.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
I just thought the paper part was just really unique because everybody's got a tablet or everybody's got something like some kind of electronic device that have that hard paper copy is like, I don't know.
Yeah, dude. When someone goes back through and looks at all Pete's notebooks, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, it'll be his memoirs one day. They'll be in.
Right.
Oh, the story you started, by the way, now that gathered collection here, it was a bank parking lot, lady snitching, waiting for cops, like 10 cops rolled up deep.
Right, okay. Okay, so the lady was, we heard the call on the radio, so we shot right over there. And we jumped out and started filming, and this lady's, like, telling on her neighbor, like, jumping up and down. She's just this garbage lady. She made me want to. She made me sick just listening to her. Just so happy with a big giant smile on her face to be telling on somebody. And so meanwhile, the cops all shoot over there, and the poor neighbors really didn't want nothing to do with it. They of course separated everybody. They wouldn't let us anywhere near them, and they convinced one of the people to leave in a ambulance because apparently somebody had said to somebody else that they had claimed they're going to kill themselves or something like that. So they convinced them to go for evaluation. Of course,
for their own safety.
And now, I'm
used,
sorry to ask real quick, but where exactly was this at again?
This was in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought you said it was in Donnybrook. I know that's close. I don't know why I thought it was that, but never mind. I was just a little lost on that for a second. Confusion of the coming back. Okay, we're back. Sorry.
I mean, it was just, it was really irritating because they set up in front of us far enough away that we couldn't get anything they were saying, and we couldn't, like, try to tell these people that are standing aside, you don't have to talk to them.
Right, don't incriminate yourself.
Well, they had set up a pretty good line, and we were arguing pretty hard that they were impeding on the press, and they wouldn't even let us go around to the other side of the sidewalk. That was a public space. So I'm sure we could have had a complaint after that, but we were in town just to see how things were. And so we got to... It's just like anywhere else. The cops play the little tricks, and it's important to film them no matter where you're at.
How long did you get the film to stop? Did it last very long?
That one was probably about 20 minutes.
Oh man, that's a long one. That's like an Irish brawl right there. I'm surprised you made it out.
Right.
We were the whole time trying to get closer and closer. Eventually, toward the end, I just said, "You know what? I'm going closer. I have a press pass. If you choose to arrest me, I'll sue you." And I called her bluff, and I walked past her, and she just kind of kept trying to reposition herself like she was still in charge. But I totally walked right past her.
That's funny. That's nice.
Yeah, that was pretty good. We got that. The other instance in Keene that was really humorous that's already up is a sheriff pulled somebody over in the school zone first thing in the morning and blocked the crosswalk where he decided to stop this person. And students were walking around his car in the middle of the road, totally dangerous. So we asked him for his identification, and he refused to identify. So me, Rick, and JP surrounded the car and paraded him for about 5 minutes before he sped off.
Never identify himself, though?
Never identified himself, but we did go over to his boss, and he was the only sheriff on duty at the time, and his boss was a little pissed off that one of his guys not identifying.
It's fun to troll.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Well, it had to have been a new experience still for you, because I know whenever we tried to do something even remotely close to that, they either instantaneously drive off or they start lifting off back. Like, just to have them sit there quietly and not do anything had to have been a newer experience.
Yeah, I mean, it was a different feel down there. They definitely are aware of cop blockers and have I believe that they must have had special training. They each get told, like, you're going to encounter these guys. Don't talk. Don't mouth off. Like,
right. That's what I was thinking, because normally when I've filmed, especially in Manchester, man, because, like, I don't know if you know some of the history about Manchester police and, like, Free Staters and or cop blockers, as my cat leaves. But that's where Pete and I first, and 8 other people got charged with chalking the police, and then I did the wiretapping there. Plus there's been a boatload of other people filming the police, at random or whenever they're doing whatever. And so, normally when you film the police in Manchester, they're done in like 5 minutes or less, and they take off. Like, there have been some times where we filmed them, and like the cops leave before the person they pulled over. And like, how often do you see that?
Can't get out of there fast enough.
Right.
You were charged with chalking in Manchester. Were you? Did you beat that one?
Nope. I did 60 days in jail for that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
I can't see.
But they screwed me over in that. They said they mailed me my ticket for my trial date or my notice for my trial date, but then they mailed it to an address that doesn't exist, and so I missed that date, and so my sentence was enacted, which was conveniently during my wiretapping trial. So I was they were doing something to me on purpose.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of you in court, one of our other stories for the night is You just went to court in Parma. You met the big bad wolf.
That's right. And so, for me,
Was it the same judge that Dia?
no, it was. I'm not even sure it was an actual judge. And the reason why I'm confused is because it didn't wear a dress, which really sounds weird. But this person didn't have a black dress on. So I'm not sure if they're actually a judge or not, which sounds really weird because, like, if they had a badge, they were a cop. But, like, if they don't have a dress, you're not a judge. But they sat in, like, that person's chair where that person usually sits.
Did they make you stand when they walked in?
They did not. And
I don't think that was a judge.
Right, it can't be a judge. And so, like, a little backstory quick maybe that I can get into just before we go into break is, so first, Parma, Ohio is the city that is currently jailing Dio Odelecki, the Greater Cleveland Cop Block founder, for 240 days for essentially 2 incidences in where he filmed the police, in a nutshell. I don't care how everyone else wants to cut it, but they can check it out at the website. Just search Greater Cleveland Cop Block would be the first story that pops up. And they're also recently made headlines for locking up a man, Novak is his last name, for creating a satire Facebook page that mocked the Parma Police Department. And they charged him with a felony. And so about, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I got a ticket for changing lanes without using my blinker. And so this past Tuesday, I had court for that. And, while there, it was quite an interesting experience.
Story while we come back from a commercial break.
Do you want, Cat?
No.
You guys are crazy. I wonder if it was a paid actor.
What?
Wonder if it was a paid actor acting like a judge.
Maybe.
We'll be back to talk about more of that. All right.
I thought we were off already. Adema walks away while we're still on air, yelling at his cat.
Meow.
I'm not meowing on.
If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amped is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
The 3 most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.lrn.fm. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. It's my firm belief that the AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented groups. Support all your favorite organizations, but make sure you give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm.
SWCPoker.eu is Bitcoin Poker 2.0, where players can buy chips, play, and cash out anonymously with Bitcoin. No banking, just Bitcoin. Texas Hold'em, Omaha Hold'em, Draw, and many new games, including Chinese poker. SWC Poker gladly accepts players worldwide, and over 2 million hands of Bitcoin poker have been dealt at SWCPoker.eu. Bitcoin poker from the brand you trust. SWCPoker.eu.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live.
I just
I've
want
just
to
done
know
a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. I know this sounds unbelievable, but at my house, we saved as much as 45% off of a new item on Amazon. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
You're on mute there, bud. Welcome, everybody, back to Cop Block Radio. This is Matt of Carbon County Cop Block.
Severin Freeman of Lehigh Valley Cop Block.
There you are. You're on mute, buddy.
And Ademo Freeman of copblock.org.
Eating a muffin.
Break, we were talking about Ademo in Parma, Ohio. But I just got to jump in with something about this that is hilarious. So they locked up this guy for creating a fake Facebook page, and as a result, there are now dozens of fake Parma Police Department Facebook pages going up. I encourage anyone listening, anyone who hears this show later, to go to these fake pages, like these pages, share these pages, because it's an ultimate troll on these guys.
Yeah, it is really funny. And they have a small jail, so it wouldn't take much to fill it up. So they can't,
Can you imagine if everybody did that, though? They wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah, which brings me to my story of my excursion into traffic court in Parma. And so Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. I had traffic court for my failure to use a signal or like improper lane change or whatever they call it. I don't even know. But there's probably like 30 to 40 other people there. Average ticket, 140, 150 bucks. And people are just coming through like, assembly line. And I always give that analogy when explaining government processes because, everybody you ever talk to, like even today when I was on the phone trying to get my open records request handled, it's always, I'll transfer to the next person. In Indiana, when Brian and I were jailed for using children's chalk on a sidewalk, we were asking the guy who was setting our arraignment, where's the victim? Who's the crime? And fine, we did it. Let's save everybody some time. How long do you want to keep me here until I can go home? Well, I'm not here to decide that today. I'm only here to decide this. It's like, it's an assembly line. I only put on the tire. I only put on the door. If there's no tire, I just put on the door. I don't worry about the tire. You know what I mean? Because, you know what I'm saying? When I'm at the tire, that's when I get arrested. I tell the cop, hey, you're not supposed to arrest me. When I get to the door, that's when I'm telling the jail, like, yo, this guy wasn't supposed to arrest me. The system's supposed to be about checks and balances. You guys should let me out here. But nobody wants to address any of the actual issues. It's just do what we're supposed to do at this time. And anytime you say something different, it's like the assembly line breaks down. They don't know what to do. You're like, hey, man, on this one, put on a trunk. And they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. What do you mean put on a trunk? I don't put on trunks. I put on doors, man. You can't come over here and tell me to put on doors. And I don't know if any of you guys ever worked in a factory like assembly lines or something, but I have. And it is just like that. And so, so anywho, I'm in Parma court, and these people are going up, they're calling them up, they line up, and they're all asking for leniency. That's why everyone's there. All the people who didn't show up probably paid more money. And so when I get up there, they say, how do you plead? And I just say no contest because, first off, a little side point, the pre-instructions to traffic court were that if you plead not guilty, this guy over here will give you a new date for your trial, and he'll also ask if you want to sign a waiver of your speedy trial form. And then he explained that that's probably in your favor because the court is here every day, Monday through Friday. And so if you need to reschedule, they don't have to oblige you But if you want them to, regardless, just sign this and they will. So it normally works out in your favor. That's what he said. And that's a line of BS, because the truth is that if everyone pled not guilty and didn't sign that form, they wouldn't be able to prosecute everybody in the 90 days that they have to prosecute people for these petty offenses, which are really just about generating revenue. It's about money. And so when I go up there, I had thought about doing the not guilty and not signing that thing and trying to prove that point. But first of all, since I'm not, there probably wouldn't be that many doing that. It would be a higher likelihood that they would try me in 90 days, and I'm not even sure where I'll be in 90 days. So I decided to go with like no contest, not guilty. Didn't really matter, but I chose to say no contest. He fines me $156, basically $106 of that is court costs, and he says you can pay that downstairs. And normally that's when everyone turns around, walks out the door, they're happy. I don't even know what the actual fine was supposed to be, so I don't even know what kind of reduction you get, like $25, $50 for going to court. It's probably a $200 fine if you didn't go to court.
Yeah.
So anyways, instead of leaving, I say, I have no intention of paying your fine. And he looks up at me like I just told him to put a hood on a door, you know? And he's like, why not? And I said, well, what I did, and I kind of explained to him, and what happened in my incident was there was a 2-lane road I was on. One of the lanes was closed for construction, so all the cars bunched up, bumper to one another. And immediately upon that construction's completion, meaning when the right lane reopened, I immediately shifted to that lane before the car behind me could, because they were still in barricaded, blocked off lanes. And so I don't know who I was supposed to be signaling to, and I don't know who my lane change endangered. In fact, I think that changing lanes was a safer option than staying congested with a bunch of folks behind me. And so I have no intention of paying people money who I already paid to protect me, but now are saying I owe them money for whatever. And then he looks at me and goes, because that's not registering to him, the next question is, are you able to pay? And I'm like, I have no intention of answering your financial questions. You know, it's not about whether or not I have the money. It's about that I don't, like, even if it's the law, I don't think it applies, or nor does it, you know, its intention was to keep anyone safe. You know what I mean? What I did, I feel, was better than the law is, and if that's the case, I'll do it every time.
Right.
And so he's like, well, I'm going to schedule an indigent hearing for you. Indigent meaning if I'm able to pay or not. And I said, well, I'm not going to answer any of your financial questions, and we can save everybody the time. This is about money, and if you want to collect the money, you're not getting it from me. You're going to have to get it from the taxpayers. So why don't you just show everybody the violence within the system and throw me in your cage? And then he started to lecture me about like 14th and 6th Amendment rights, where I missed an opportunity to then throw it in his face that with this Facebook case and Dio's case, that they obviously don't respect the First Amendment rights, so why are they even respecting the 6th or the 14th? You know, stop trying to fool everybody. But I missed that opportunity. But I did ask him how often he can expect to order me back to the courtroom under, by threat of violence. And he said, nobody's threatening you. I said, what happens if I don't come to the court hearing you're setting? And he says, he ignores me. And so he says, and then he tells me the court date. And I refuse to leave, asking him again 2 more times, what happens to me if I don't come to the court date? And finally he says, a warrant will be, I will issue a warrant for your arrest. And I said, so you'll send men with guns to my house and bring me here, and it's not about violence, it's not about threats, and so he said not July, he said Thursday, whatever, at whatever, 4 o'clock. I don't even know what day it is because I didn't even care. But, and then I just turned around and left and called them all a bunch of thugs. But that's the racket, man, and I told everyone not to give them their money because that's the point. And so now I'd like to,
Did the judge knew who you were?
What?
Did the judge know who you were?
I don't even think he's a judge, but I don't know if he knew who I was. But definitely the bailiffs knew who I was because one of the bailiffs is the guy that screamed at Dio in his July 29th arrest. His name is Gillespie. He's now a bailiff in that court. And I was also wearing my Fuck the Police coplock.org shirt.
Nice.
And so when I turned around, too, the about 15 or 20 people remaining all had their jaws like wide open. They were just like, what did that guy just say? And so now I have an indigent hearing next week. I think it's Tuesday or Thursday. I don't know. But at that time, I won't answer any of their questions. I won't tell them what to do. And even if it's $30 a day and the fine's $150, I'm only going to sit for 5 days. So whatever. And they're going to have to charge taxpayers. And if enough people do this, in their courts, first of all, they won't be able to prosecute all of you, so a small number of you will have to actually go to jail, and it's for a short amount of time, and the reality is that they would have to stop doing it. So it's valuable, and so I have no misconception that that's what my action will do, but I think that if it will show people the start of it, then maybe they can inspire others to do it too.
It's noble.
Plus, it's fitting. Normally, I would just out on these tickets because I don't give a damn. I just leave and never come back to Parma, whatever.
Right.
But or if I do come back, fine. Grab me for 3 days and call it a wrap. But with them doing this to Dio and the Facebook, it's fitting, and they clearly don't respect rights anyways. So let's see what they want. And so that's why this weekend we're going to hold a cop block weekend. We're going to do a little sign wave for Dio outside the jail, and then we're going to cop block the Parma Police Department. And then next week I plan to do some court outreach, letting people know that, hey, if you all go in here and say not guilty, don't sign the waiver, you have a high percentage chance of not getting prosecuted at all. You know what I mean? And if you do, you're going to be out the fine. You're out already.
Matt found that out.
And I know we're coming up to a break, but when we get back, I want to tell you guys when we get back from the break that about my idea, because there's also a way where you could offer to pay people's tickets for them if they do this, and it would be ingenious, but it's I don't know the legality of it all, and I'm sure they would muster up something, because all you really have to do is tell people, give me $10, and if you're found guilty, I'll pay your ticket, but you have to take it to trial, and you can't waive your speedy rights. Right.
Tell us all about it when we come back. We're cutting to a commercial break. We'll be back with that and our top stories of the night.
You're the top story.
Ooh.
All right, this is our long break, so if you got to go get food or use the bathroom or whatever.
Why are you telling me what to do? I'm going to sit here. I'm going to do a striptease.
Freaking telling people what to do like a status.
I'm going to be like this on the striptease, take off the hat. Whoa.
Anybody watching this is why you should watch the YouTube stream.
Right. You get a Damo Raw, and that could get pretty literal here. Whoa. Alright, where are you going?
Hey.
Whoa, you gotta use the. Alright.
Dial 1-800-707-8719. That's 1-800-707-8719. 1-800-707-8719. Or just go to creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com.
If you can't listen to the Liberty Radio Network's internet streams, free satellite channel, or radio affiliates, no worries. You can listen to LRN.FM from any phone, anywhere. Add this number to your phone. 213-493-0309. It's a long-distance call, so make sure you're familiar with your phone's calling plan. The Liberty Radio Network listen lines are locked into our stream 24 hours a day. Call 213-493-0309. That's 213-493-0309.
Cryptocurrency and peer-to-peer tech developments happen fast. Stay in the loop with the Daily Decrypt, a new video channel and podcast that will keep you on top of the latest innovations in crypto finance, security, networking, transportation, and gadgetry like drones and 3D printers. Subscribe to the Daily Decrypt on YouTube and SoundCloud and be an early adopter of the future. The Daily Decrypt.
More Cop Block Radio is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FTP Radio News for Wednesday, April 6th, 2016. Silver is trading at $15.01 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,220 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $425. Antiwar.com reports locals reported sporadic firing in the Nagorno-Karabakh region on Tuesday, but no major fighting after Armenian and Azerbaijan officials agreed to a joint ceasefire, which seems to be ending the fighting in the territory for now. Nagorno-Karabakh has been disputed between Armenia and Azerbaijan for a century now. The United Nations recognizes the territory as belonging to Azerbaijan, but the de facto autonomous government is Armenia-backed. The two sides have fought several wars over the issue. This latest fighting, which spanned the weekend and Monday, was the first major dust-up since 1994. Both sides continued to accuse the other of starting it, and dozens of people were killed in the fighting. The ceasefire is being welcomed by a number of nations, but the situation remains, as ever, unresolved, leaving open the possibility that another war could break out at any moment on any pretext. If you're fed up with the government running every aspect of your life, but you're not listening to the Lava Flow podcast yet, what's wrong with you? Go right now to thelavaflow.com/listen. The Lava Flow podcast, channeling the flow of information to the libertarian, anarcho-capitalist, voluntarist, and agorist community. Subscribe using any podcatcher at thelavaflow.com/listen, or just go back to sucking up to the government. The Lava Flow podcast, striking the root every episode. UPI reports New Jersey U.S. Attorney Paul Fishman said on Tuesday that federal investigators set up a phony university with a website and an office to nab more than 1,000 people they accused of conspiring to fraudulently obtain student and work visas. Federal prosecutors charged 21 brokers with felony charges of conspiracy to commit visa fraud, making a false statement, and conspiracy to harbor aliens for profit and other offenses. The brokers are accused of marketing their services to more than 1,000 foreign nationals, primarily from China and India, who entered the United States on legitimate student visas and wanted to remain after completing their studies, according to prosecutors. Fishman told reporters that foreigners who use the services will likely not be prosecuted, but will have their visas revoked. Federal investigators set up the fake University of Northern New Jersey in 2013, complete with a website, Facebook page, and storefront office in Cranford, New Jersey, staffed by undercover agents who posed as school administrators. The goal of the multi-year investigation, according to officials, was to lure criminals who defraud the country's student and exchange visitor program, which monitors schools that verify student visas and non-immigrant students. The 21 people accused in the pay-to-stay scheme were said to have helped enroll people in exchange for thousands of dollars in kickbacks. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports Mississippi Governor Phil Bryant on Tuesday signed a bill that purports to protect people from legal ramifications when acting on their faith-based convictions, a law similar to those passed and immediately recalled and adjusted by a couple of states last year. House Bill 1523, known as the Protecting Freedom of Conscience from Government Discrimination Act, was signed by Bryant after making its way through both Mississippi chambers in recent weeks, the House on February 19th and the Senate on March 30th. The law aims to shield people, religious organizations, and other entities acting in a manner consistent with their faith-based convictions without facing potential legal ramifications. Bryant wrote in a statement on Tuesday, "I am signing HB 1523 into law to protect sincerely held religious and moral convictions from discriminatory actions by state government or its political subdivisions. This bill merely reinforces the right which currently exists to exercise the religious freedom as stated in the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. Advocates contend the law does not force the religious to act against their principles, while critics say HB 1523 gives legal license to practice discrimination. Last week, Georgia Governor Nathan Deal vetoed a similar bill." This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Shortly after having sexual intercourse with a prostitute earlier this afternoon, local man Jacob Reynolds told reporters that he never expected the experience would bring him to new heights of emotional and spiritual fulfillment.
I was convinced that having sex with a complete stranger behind my wife's back would leave me feeling drained and empty on the inside, but my self-esteem is through the roof.
Reynolds, who said he paid $150 for a 30-minute block of time, said that his moderate expectations for the encounter were instantly surpassed by what turned out to be a deeply personal sexual communion that transported him to a new plane of emotional intimacy.
I've never felt a stronger sense of spiritual connection. When our bodies met, there was an immediate sense of familiarity and comfort that just washed over me. I think it was the most meaningful experience of my life.
This is the Onion News Network.
Welcome back. Segment. I am Severin Freeman from Lehigh Valley Cop Block.
What up, Severin?
What up, Sev? I am Matt from Carbon County Cop Block, and this
And I'm
is
a demo.
What's
Cop
up,
Block.
guys?
Yes. Cop Block. Just a regular old Cop Block.
No, you shouldn't be listening.
So while we were over on break, I decided to pop over to our Q&A and take a look. I want to say what's up back to Rick Gonzalez of Allentown Cop Block and kind of laugh at the fact that we've got a troll over here in our comment section, and it's kind of funny.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
I can't see it.
I gotta give him a demo. If you click on the Q&A button on the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see his nice little comments. I'm going to give him a shout-out. What's up, Jason Morrison? Everybody go to Jason Morrison's page.
Yeah, just to let you guys know, as he said to himself, he stopped having sex with his sister so he could come listen to us. That's dedication. We enjoy you as a fan.
Nice.
That's funny. That's funny. I see it now. He's also messaging me on Facebook, which is hilarious. So yeah, he was awesome and came out with me on Tuesday because like Parma is a police state and you can't even have cameras in there, and so you can't record or take pictures or video. Not like Keene, where you do all those things. And so him and another guy, Don, came with me and to bear witness and let everyone know if I did or did not go to a cage. So shout out to Jason and Don for hooking it up.
Oh, so he's a friend. He's just toying around with us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I really am HIV positive.
All right.
And I smoke meth.
Yeah.
And I was banned from Cop Block, but I'm back.
We all live in our parents' basements, and
Yep. And we started Civilians Against Cop Block.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Well, before we come to a break, you were talking about an idea that you had that
Right.
might not be totally legal, but it could.
Sounds right to me. I don't know about legal, but whatever. But yeah, essentially, these tickets are averaging about $150. So you tell people, give me $10 right now. All you do is walk inside. You're already here. You plead not guilty. You don't sign the speedy waiver form. You take it to trial. And math would tell you that most people that, like, what do you say? You give me $10, and if you get a fine, I will pay it, right? And so for a math example, there was, let's just say 30 people, and I think that's the low-end estimate, that were in court the other day, and that'd be $300. And so 2 of those people couldn't get convicted. But if you did this every day, 5 days a week, that's 150 people that they now have 90 days within 5 days of each other to try them.
You should go to DUI court, dude. People on their first offense, every one of them in that courtroom was paying $1,000 that day.
Yeah, but that's
different. Except for this guy, fucking Lehigh police.
My jaw hit the ground when I watched the line of people just walking up, and just like you said, they didn't know what to do. I gave my friend the advice, like, don't sign that paper. Why don't you get your evidence first? Because in order to sign that paper, you're admitting guilt without getting any of your discovery or anything.
Right.
You're admitting guilt, and they're cutting you a deal for $1,000, but it ends up costing you like $4,000 when it's all said and done, because they want you to pay for your own classes and pay for your own drug tests.
Right.
But anyway,
it's all a racket. It's all about money, and that's the point. And so you just tell folks, hey, you give me $10 right now, and if you get a ticket, whatever. So the thing is, you have to do this over the longevity, though, because if you do it in one day, you do 30 people, they can try 30 people in 90 days. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If they get wind of this. But if you did it for 2 weeks in a row, that's 300 people that they would have to try in 90 days within 14 days of, so they'd have to try them in 104 days. 300 people in 104 days. They'd have to try 3 people a day. They'd have to try 3 people a day plus process all the other people that are coming in still.
Yeah,
This would bust the system in no time.
Especially if Parma is anything like it is out here, where they have basically what they call a criminal court week, which would be the first week of the month, and then from there on out, they only really do arraignments on Wednesdays.
Right. I want to know who I can call. Like, this is what sucks. There's nobody you can call that can give you an answer like, is this illegal? Because, like, they'll make something up. Like, they'll look at things that I don't even know about. Like, first of all, I'll be like, there's no city ordinance that says anything about it. There's no county. There's no Ohio State. Next thing you know, it'll be like a felony, like, federal fucking offense that I go to jail for like 25 years for.
Yeah.
So you're talking literally offering to pay whatever the total amount is for these people if they just plead not guilty and take it and see how far it'll go.
Listen, Severin, we're only talking about minor vehicle infractions. We're not talking about DUIs or fucking drug possessions. You know what I mean? We're talking about simple vehicle motor moving violations that are $200 or like $100 to $200.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about DUIs and stuff.
No, I'm totally with you. Some towns have it's such a big revenue in some towns like Philadelphia. They have their own courts called the traffic courts that
I hear you, dude.
100% of their traffic tickets.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These would bust them, dude, in under a year. You'd bust it in under a year, and you'd make a boatload of money because of what do you think they can do? Try 2 people a day? You know what I mean? And so then 100 days they try 200 people. And I guess you're going to lose on the math there, paying all those people out if they're found guilty. I don't see them being able to try that many people and keep businesses as going. Plus, you're going to back it up down the road. You know what I'm saying? So, like, as you're getting 300, once they convict your first, let's say they try 2 people a day for 100 days, 200 people, you've already signed up 2,000.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You signed up 2,000. You have to be that persistent about it. And then they hurt you at first, and then so what I'm saying is you'll bank up a lot of money, and then you have to pay out a large sum of it because they will try to fight it.
Especially if every single person that does get found guilty throws in an instant appeal, so that they have to start working on that stuff and everything. I mean, you play the game all the way out. You know, have them appeal as long as they can appeal. You know, those type of things, just to make it to where it really drags it out.
Well, what is it, like 1 or 2% of people that actually do ask for a court date when they get a ticket?
Well, I would say it was like 20 to 25% of people that day did. You know, but that's not the same. I bet you nearly all of those people take a plea deal. They're just hoping to get the fine reduced or.
No, I'm saying overall, like if you take a town, take all their tickets they issue, how many people actually ask for their court date rather than just writing a check and getting it over with? I bet you it's really low, like 1 or 2%.
Well, I think you're wording the question wrong. The question I think you're saying is how many get to the court date, right? How many actually have a trial?
Yeah, how many have a trial?
That's a low number. I'd agree with you there. There's probably, it's in the single digits, I would suspect.
Most people don't think that
Well, there's a reason for this. That's because paying is, so like sometimes, like, why is traffic court at 1:30 in the middle of the day? That's so that you can't come in late or leave early, really. You know, maybe some jobs can or a good number or whatever, but for the most part, that's like, hey, you either have to take the whole day off and lose a whole day's pay, and so now it just comes down to, do you make more or less than the fine that day? And if you make more, you mail it in, and if you make less, you go in and try to get a reduction. It's that simple, you know? And then you still might not pay, you still might have the system, and then they still, if you can't pay, they jail you, unless they prove you're indigent, then they might be like, all right, see you later, and it just wipes off the books. But if like me, when I say I won't answer your questions and I don't pay, they're going to lock me in a cage and collect that money.
A judge offers you community service, will you take it?
No, man, because it's for their rules. I mean, unless he lets me, I'll say my existence is community service. That's what I'll tell him. And I'll be like, I've done more.
Cop Block card. Say your activism with Cop Block is community service.
So I got tattoos that are community service, dude. Like, whatever. And so I'm not going to let them control me. Like I said, if they want, to me, this is about showing the violence within the system, you know. And they say it's just a ticket, you shouldn't have broke the law or whatever. And like, to me, it's like everything the police say is a threat of like force to some degree. And sometimes that's just caging, which is what we're talking about here. Sometimes it's a violent arrest, and sometimes it could even be death. You know, everything they say is do this or else, and they never really tell you what else is because They make it so inconvenient, like I just explained, in traffic court. Lose $200 in a fine or lose $400 at work that day for some people. You know, that's a no-brainer. You pay it and you just make half as much because you still make $200.
Well, we'll be right back with another segment. Cop Block Radio.
Cop Block Radio.
Cop Block Radio.
This here radio.
All right, when we come back, we got to get into Adam. And then after we talk about Adam,
I'll double tap the Pete story in segment.
I'll pass it off to you after we talk about Adam, and you can do the groups page and the next story.
All right, do you want me to, since we're a segment behind, do you want me to combine those into one segment?
Yeah, that would probably be best.
All right, that's fine. They're both Pete anyways, so that's not a bad idea.
I love trolls.
You can bring us in too.
Bring it in.
Once you hear the music cut out, you can start bringing us in.
Okay, so just bring it back. Just bring us back in and go right into them.
Yeah, well.
So I want to do Adam first.
After you hear the music go off, because I have to flip it over. But yeah, then you could just come in like it's a normal segment.
All right, just give me a thumbs up. Just give me a thumbs up when you want me to start talking.
Within your means. For your mortgage pre-approval and refi needs, start by visiting VanDykeMortgage.com.
Corporate NMLS 3035. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Charlie Sundstrom, NMLS 134251.
DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phone, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.lrn.fm. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit the Liberty Radio Network when you shop at Amazon via shop.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Listen to LRN.FM on any phone, anytime. 213-493-0309. That's 213-493-0309.
And welcome back. This is Matt of Carbon County Cop Block alongside Severin Freeman of Lehigh Valley Cop Block and Ademo Freeman of copblock.org. So, speaking of copblock.org, there's some new changes that it's going to happen to the group page. You guys I'm sure you guys are aware of this, but anyway, some of the stuff that seems like some of the changes that are going to be made is
What is
pretty
the page
exciting.
you're talking about?
Copblock.org/groups. Now, it seems like there's going to be some fun changes to this, not only in the way that you can identify with active members in your area, but also identify the inactive groups that are in your area. So you can either find a way to contact who was ever involved with that and revitalize it, or start a new one. But what's nice is the way that this is going to be set up is that it's not only going to be surrounding active cop block, it's going to be surrounding different accountability groups around the country. So
Peaceful Street Project in Texas will be listed, and what's the other ones? Well, your other half on your other radio show, Scott.
Yeah, we got a Oath Accountability that's going to be up there. Like you said, Peaceful Streets. But if you also, say you're somebody who does do a lot of cop blocking, but you know of other organizations out there that just haven't been on the group page yet, you can actually contact Pete Erie and just let him know that this is out there, and he'll throw it up on the page as well. Just get him on the radar and.
Right, like if you have a page like Mike Bluehair, who's like Film the Police Phoenix or Portland, excuse me, and so it really don't matter what goes up there, but a lot of the big thing about the page was that when it was built, I guess that was I don't know if you call it like the boom of like police whatever website thingies, and but like, it seemed like everyone was making a face page, like not just like the websites, but like the social media aspect of it, and so like that was all booming off and stuff like that, and so a lot of people made things and then they went stagnant, and so
right.
a lot of that was stripped out, and so it's gonna be great to get it full of updated and full of active folks. It's
right.
It was a great tool for a long time, and then it became one that like people got so many dead links on it that they weren't going to click anything else, or they weren't going to check out the bottom half of the page, and it was pretty long, and so it got stripped down, and now it'll be good to get revised again and new life into it with stuff that's current, and hopefully that helps, like Pete mentions in the post, spur more folks to be inspired to do things in their area and continue, using cameras to, question authority, I guess.
There's no.
Well, yeah, absolutely, because there's a lot of different people out there, and some people have that drive to go out there by themselves and do it on a day-to-day basis. Like one of my other counterparts over on the Monday show, Rick Gonzalez of Allentown Cop Block. He does go out almost every day and cop blocks by himself. Some people have that drive to do that. Other people, they want a group. They want to be, a part of something and not start something. And so to find, they might not know that that's in their area, but pays enough attention to the site that they roll across the group page, and once it gets revitalized, realize, maybe a town over, that's something that they could have been involved with the whole time, and start getting active because they know that there's other people, they're not alone.
Right. It's also another great way to get folks, recognition. It's hard to go out every day and film the cops and get your videos uploaded and write the blog and have it at a Facebook page that's been busy enough that people are visiting it enough or have tagged it to be viewable in their feed. And so
right.
It helps create, kind of what the Cop Block Network is designed to do. And people who like have defined roles or skill sets realize that others have theirs, like submitting a story to the website or, some of the other things that happen.
So
yeah, absolutely.
If you're out there and you're thinking about starting a group, now's a good time too, because you can get it listed right away. I get asked questions all the time if we're out here or if we're there, and if there's not a group in your area, there's nothing stopping you from starting the page.
Right, and we've, Pete even built another page, copblock.org/startagroup, all one word. Start a group, and it gives you tips and some suggestions of things other folks have done. Just making a Facebook page, a YouTube. You can get a website, and build. I found that building these things, one at a time. A Facebook or YouTube channel is pretty basic and a good startup. And so you can easily upload and do whatever, and use the Cop Block submission tab, and let some of the bloggers take care of it. And then as you get that down, then maybe you can join and blog, your own stuff and other stuff, or submit other stuff, and then it goes from there. And then eventually you can make your own website and do both, go back and forth, write for other people, whatever you got to do. It really works to open up some avenues. I mean, that in a nutshell is how I came about, pretty much.
Yeah, that's the start a page is actually that was how I first did Cop Block. When I wanted to start a group, I didn't know if I needed some kind of permission or anything like that, and I just started reading the webpage.
Oh, you guys didn't get your Cop Block membership cards?
Yeah, I don't think I renewed.
No, I didn't.
Man, you guys owe me a lot of money.
Yeah, the dues, man, they're racking up.
Yeah. Everybody
because you remember, this is all about the money. So
that's right. It's all about the money, and we're like the world's
that's what we do it for.
Worst people.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm done with this, I'm gonna go jump in my Ferrari, take it over to my jet, and go to Maui for the weekend. So
right.
I'm gonna smoke crack in my parents' basement.
Yeah, I was gonna say you guys got the nice fake setups, man. Because I know all you guys are in your parents' basements, but it looks like you actually have some cool shit going on. Like I got I ain't lying.
I'm not gonna lie,
I'm in my mom's basement.
My bunny suit from my 12th, Easter is still hanging across for me right here. I'm not gonna show you guys because it's embarrassing as hell, but it's still there. I see it.
You might find a couple of chicks out there that might dig something like that.
Hey man, furries are getting action these days.
That's right. Word.
So, also wanted to talk about another story that Pete did, and this is about Dio. He wrote his third letter to him, and he put up a video about it. And it was a pretty powerful video because he makes a lot of good points. If you really think about it, Dio, with the fact that he really didn't commit a crime. He went out, he filmed, he was trying to bring transparency into the area, and not only by the filming, but then also being allowed to hold his sign. And in a case that has no victim, is doing 240 days for basically standing up for his rights, and really makes him a political prisoner. Because he is being held in jail in Parma for standing up for his political beliefs and his political rights and his human rights as an American citizen, and he is being jailed for them. I mean, there's no better way to say that he's or no better title for it than political prisoner, because that's what he is.
Yeah, and a long list of many, and sadly it is blatantly obvious to everybody else but a copsucker that he is being punished, for his desires to film the police and or question their authority. Basically, like you mentioned, his what should be defined as a political belief per their rules.
Yeah.
And so it's a damn shame, and it sucks because he calls me and I talk to him, and it's hard to tell somebody that, like, hey, the best I can do is make sure you have the $20 maximum on your books each week.
We'll be right back. Hold that thought. We have our top story coming up next. All right.
All right. I'll bring it back in and wrap it, like within 2 minutes.
You want to introduce the top story?
Which one's the top story?
Adam.
Oh, yeah. You want me to enter? So what I'll do is I'll bring it back. I'll wrap up Dio's because I definitely want to make sure to get his mailing address out there. And then I'll bring it up and kick it to you.
Make sure when you do the show post, you put his address on it again.
Oh, you bet, man. It's to...
All right, we're behind.
We should be.
We have Dio's story we just did.
We have Dio's. We have the 1047 and 1006 just got hit, so we should be on 1020. I mean, we talked about Adam a little bit earlier, but we never actually got into him, nor did we douchebag of the week Parma, so I'll do that over.
Yeah, you announced that when we come back, douchebag of the week is Parma. And after we talk about Adam, we can talk about the inmate fights.
Okay. Do you want to bump one of these for Adam?
Yeah, let's bump. Which one do you think?
1047 or 1147. We'll just bump that last story.
Yeah, let's just bump that off then. So we have the inmate fights and the Fresno denied funding.
Yep. Okay. Sounds good.
And if we run into dead air, we have plenty of stories to go.
Yeah, so.
All right, I'll play commercials for a minute.
Devoid of any emotion or feeling. It was horrifying. It's only a matter of time before they do something they really want.
We believe these men to be manipulative and extremely dangerous. Luckily, they are also very disorganized, and there is a chance they may never be able to ever take any action at all. For more on this developing story, keep checking theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that tenth of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our body than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
Six drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Badavi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Cop Block Radio. This is Matt of Carbon County, along with Ademo Freeman of copblock.org and Severin Freeman of Lehigh Valley Cop Block. So when we left off, we were talking about Dio out in Parma and some of the stuff that he's been going through. And I know we bring up Dio a lot, and I think the reason we do that is because no matter how how long he's going to be in there, it's going to rub us the wrong way, just because of just how insane it is. That
it's a brutal injustice. Brutal injustice.
Of not only the fact that it happens all over the country, but when it hurts even more when it happens to someone close to you. But for another week straight, we got to give the douchebag of the week to the Parma County Police Department. So, anyways, guys, if you want to go ahead and write Dio a letter, please, not only in our post notes will I have his address there, but I'm going to give it out to you now. It's Douglas Odelecki. It's spelled O-D-O-L-C or E-C-K-I, and that's Parma Detention Center, 5555 Powers Boulevard, Parma, Ohio, 44129. And make sure you guys send him some love. If you're planning on trolling him, just don't. That's one of the cruelest things you could do. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. But moving along.
Hang on 1 second. I did want to ask Ademo real quick. You've been visiting, the last I had spoke to him, he was hoping to be able to get a motion granted that he could get out sometime in April, where he was hoping he would be able to do the 90 days the original sentence that he thought he was going to get. Is there any movement on that? Any movement with the lawyer or the appeal?
Well, yeah, I mean, but so Dio's appeals take sometimes anywhere from a year to 3 years, and so that's why before the appeal, it's like a motion in regular court. So it's an motion in the appellate court. And that was to have an appellate bond put on him while pending appeal. And the biggest reason for that was because his appeal will take longer than his sentence, even with the consecutive aspect, which is rare in appeals. Because normally your sentence is like 5, 10, 15 years. And so if your appeal takes 2, 3 years, oh, the system worked. You didn't serve 15 years. You got out in 3. The system works. That's not the case here. You know, he's doing 240 days. If it takes 360 days, he's already out. And so that motion from the appellate court was denied without reasoning, which basically means that they're just using their discretion, and they don't want to let him out. So they're really just punishing him. And, you know, if they're going to leave it open-ended, then we can be, you know, open-ended. Like, they're not going to say why, then it seems to be that's why. Anyways,
he's going to be doing the whole 200 and something days.
Well, now it's going to the Ohio State Supreme Court, where his legal team is asking them to override that decision because it's egregious, you know, and especially with the strength of his appeals, the points of his appeals, particularly the checkpoint one, because he was just standing with a sign outside of on a sidewalk. So with that one, it has a strong probability of being overturned under the First Amendment protections. Then, you know, there were so many charges on the second day that some of those could be overturned too, because, you know, was there even a medical emergency at the time in which DO was on scene legally by those definitions, among some other things that may or may not work in the courtroom. And so that's an issue. So the Ohio Supreme Court could say, yes, we agree with you that that should be overturned, and we're going to let him out, and he'll get out then. Or they'll say, no, we agree, and he stays. Then you go back to the appeal court and ask them to speed up their process and see him before others, due to the fact that, you know, it's a time thing. They can also say no to that because it's merely a request, and they probably could. So there is a high chance that if the Ohio Supreme Court doesn't overturn this appellate decision, he will sit for the whole 240 days.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just wanted an update on that. Well, we got to move on to another story. It was our top story of the night, and it's a really sad story. Adam Rapika of Capital District Cop Block was found dead in Tijuana of a apparent drug overdose.
Yeah, with his girlfriend.
With his girlfriend. At first look, it looks like a dual suicide. There are so many questions unanswered. Ademo, you just wrote a story on copblock.org about this, saying that exact thing, that they will never know the answers to some of this. Like why he successfully made it over the border into Mexico, why he would...
Successfully? Man, you've never been to Tijuana, have you?
No, I really haven't.
You can literally walk from San Diego, California into Tijuana. Literally walk.
Yep.
And nobody will stop you.
Okay. Well,
like, coming back is a whole different story. You want to come back in the United States, you're going to wait in line for 3 to 6 hours. You're going to have to answer some questions. You better have some ID. You know, they're going to have, you know, you're going to have to do your hoop jumping.
Well, he made it out there. I mean, it was known that he was experiencing some serious troubles. He put out a video.
I would dispute that. He was facing misdemeanors.
Right.
You know, I wouldn't say that. The allegations
he was facing misdemeanors and had allegations.
It was a summary offense. The offense is enough that it hangs a burden over somebody, and somebody is not going to be accepted back into their community just for the charge that he was charged with, which is abuse of children.
Right.
So him and his girlfriend were both charged with the same thing, and it was stemmed from accusations from an ex-girlfriend, which we see this far too often. An ex decides that they're going to make some far out.
It's his wife. They're still married and they're going through a divorce.
Okay. Well, then she has even more motive to make up things.
Well, they also have a son together, and she wants to move them to Florida.
Yeah, there's just a lot in this story that just doesn't make a lot of sense, you know. Like,
of course,
it makes sense of where the charges came from, in the sense of personally me thinking about it. It makes it makes sense in the sense of where or why Trump, or not why, but who would Trump charges up in the sense of making a false claim. But what really makes absolutely no sense to me is the fact that if somebody took all the effort to have the money and then flee the country, why they would then commit suicide once leaving the country. You would think if they were going to kill themselves, why would they go through all the trouble of traversing the country?
Well, I just want to play some devil's advocate because I understand what you're saying, where you're going. Because I also asked that too. Why flee the country and then kill yourself? It just seems weird. But
yeah,
you got to remember, neither of them. Well, she was wanted last Tuesday, and he wasn't wanted until Friday. You know what I'm saying? So technically, that was Saturday, I believe, that the incident happened. He was raided like early Saturday morning, and on Easter already, like Sunday, Monday of the next day, and then I think it was like Tuesday or whatever. He posted the other video. So by then, you know what I'm saying? By Tuesday, nobody's wanted. You can get pretty far in three days. You know what I mean? Nobody's wanted. They could even got stopped by the police in Oklahoma, and they'd let them go.
Well, from what I understand, his thinking was that if he ends up in custody, they were going to kill him in custody. Isn't that what one of the videos said, that they're determined to get him, that if that he's done too much or something like that?
I hear you. The only other thing I can think of is, like, even though Adam was not a drug user. You know what I mean? As far as my relationship is known with him, you know what I mean? And that is, honestly, I've never met him in person, but I am, like, he has told me he doesn't use drugs. You know, I've been talking to some people that he's hung out with that he doesn't use drugs. And so you can get drugs in Mexico very easily. So, like, I believe they said, I believe I read one source that said it was a heroin overdose. That doesn't necessarily mean he went down in the corner and bought black tar heroin and injected a needle into his arm. He probably went to the pharmacy and got Oxycontin. You know? It's the same thing.
I gotta say, as sad as it is, if there was any way to go, that's probably the most peaceful way to go. So,
if he was sleeping,
I have a heavy heart for his family, but we're
dying is dying, and that's got.
We'll be right back with some more stories with our final segment of the night. All right, we're out.
Daily precious metals update. In early trading Wednesday, gold is even at $1,222 per ounce. Silver is up 14 cents at $15.10 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $422 US. Robertson Roberts Brokerage has been helping customers buying and selling precious metals for nearly 40 years. How may we help you? Give us a call at 800-874-9760 or visit us online at rrbi.co.
The warning signs.
First, he made me feel special. He promised he'd look after me, provide for my future. He broke every promise he made.
Millions of Americans afflicted.
I was ready to leave, but he told me he'd change. So I gave him another chance. I was such a fool.
The consequences.
Things only got worse. He started making my decisions for me. About my job, my kids' education, my money, my safety, my future. He took away my choices, but I kept going back to the same politicians.
The diagnosis? Battered voter syndrome.
I fell for the same old lies. They were just playing with my emotions, telling me what I wanted to hear. That's not right.
Stop the insanity of voting for the same old abusers. Declare your independence from the two-party system and join the New Hampshire Liberty Party today at nhliberty.info.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
Did you know that Free Aid is a mutual aid, educational, and networking organization? At Free Aid, we support volunteers who provide first aid. We do outreach to the public about health and safety, and we bring together medically skilled freedom lovers. Free Aid is made possible by your generous support. Donors can receive great gifts like first aid kits, t-shirts, silver dime cards, and hoodies. The Free Aid Silver Dime Card Project is sponsored in part by Roberts & Roberts Brokerage, Freedom's Phoenix, and Don't Tread on Neem. Visit fr33aid.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for lrn.fm in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.fm. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive.
Matt.
It was for the adventure.
I'll do
and
the
for
Fresno
the
story. Do
feeling
you want to
of
do the
something
other one?
important is happening here. And I just wanted to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
And welcome back to Cop Block Radio with Ademo Freeman of copblock.org and Severin Freeman of Lehigh Valley Cop Block. Sorry, dude, I almost called you Caitlin there. I was remembering that post you had the other day, and you're like, call me Caitlin, and I completely just lost it in my head. I'm sorry, dude.
Well.
So,
to be on the show, Caitlin.
Yeah, sorry about that. So, anyways, our next story actually comes out of San Francisco, and I swear, when I was reading this before, I couldn't figure out why it sounded so familiar, and then I remembered in 2008 there was a movie called Felon with Val Kilmer and Stephen Dorff, and it is this exact story. So if you want to see this in a movie, go look this up. But 2 Northern California sheriff deputies were charged on Tuesday with involvement in basically a jail inmate gambling ring. What they were doing was they were pitting the inmates up against each other in fights and then betting on who would win. So a couple of these guys got charged, like it said. There was Scott New, who he's 45. He was charged with 2 felony counts of assault and 3 misdemeanor counts. But then also had an additional 8 felonies and 9 misdemeanors on top of that, including assault on an officer and criminal threats. And then the other deputy, Clifford Chiba, faces 3 misdemeanor counts of cruel and unusual punishment of an inmate and failing to report the alleged fights. So that's messed up. All right, these guys are supposed to be in there, and you know, these guys who are in jail are supposed to be in there paying their debt to society, whatever the reasons behind them being in there, whether justified or horse shit. And you have these guys standing there and literally pitting them against each other like dogs, and they're betting on this is no better than dog fighting. And I think it's worse, because you really, especially when you're in a place like jail,
so the guards.
It's hard to. It's not hard to stand up to the guards, but at the same time, it can be a stupid decision. And when you turn around and you have these people who basically have your life in some ways in the palm of their hands, and they're telling you, you know, oh well, your life can be better if you do this, or we can make your life hell if you decide to stay off of it. I mean, that kind of puts somebody in a really crappy situation of, fight or flight. And these guys are in a situation where fight is priority number one. So they're really being, put in a situation where there is no win. And I'm glad that these deputies who are supposed to be in charge of their safety is going to be standing right next to them in a couple weeks.
Good.
Because that's where they should be.
Right.
That's crazy. They created a fight club.
You broke rule number 1, smack yourself.
Yeah, talk about Fight Club.
You broke it again, smack yourself twice.
Well, the other story is also out of California.
Yeah?
That was San Francisco, right?
Yeah, this was to San Francisco.
This one's out of Fresno. Fresno's always in the news.
Most dangerous police department in the world, or at least the United States. I don't know about the world.
Is it so statistically?
I believe so. I think they're like the most deadly.
Well, it's good. We got Brian Sumner out there.
There's a few out there, but yeah, that's good and bad. We don't need any more cop blockers getting locked up or killed or.
So, have we sent a full Kevlar body armor suit to Brian yet?
No, but the fundraiser is in the link below. No.
Yes. If that doesn't work, we're going to have the fallback of the bear suit. It's a little clunky, but you can bumper sticker the shit out of that and have slogans all over it. And I mean, there's just about nothing that they can do to that thing that they're going to get to them.
Right.
Well, they're in the news now because they got denied funding for a spy program. Now, we've all heard rumors in the past, and maybe even seen some stories, that the police spy on our social medias. They have techs that get paid just to go through our social medias and find what they call red flags, or they have a...
Right, through algorithms.
Yep.
They have a scoring system. Well, this system was going to cost the town $132,000 and be a 5-year contract. Well, the town voted 5-0. Surprisingly enough, good for them.
Yeah.
0 against it. I mean, good for them, seriously. How often do you see a town actually tell the police no?
When they sit there and go, I do a lot of stupid things on my Facebook all the time, and I don't really feel like being under their watchful eye.
Well, we still are. I mean, if the local police are checking us out, then the feds are.
This reminds me back when we found out they were scanning some emails, and then someone created a list if you wrote this one email this one email that you copy and pasted, and it basically was you would say things basically it's Mom, I'm coming home from the countryside, and it's going to be great to have your bomb-ass dinner and all these things, and can't believe Obama's president, and all this stuff that would say that would automatically get you triggered. And people sent it around, so yeah, they denied it, but it's this time around, and some people are watching, or it's the first time around, or maybe it comes through another way in another time, or sometimes shit doesn't happen. You know what I mean? And
well, let's not play like Fresno doesn't have a tank.
What?
I said, let's not sit here and act like Fresno doesn't have a tank, because they do.
Well, yeah, but also at the end of the day is whether they get it or not, not much changes in there, or they get something else. It's this isn't about winning victories with the state, man. The state is the problem. You know what I'm saying? So even if you your city to not have a Bearcat, great. Your city doesn't have a Bearcat. The one next door to it does. 30 miles away does. There's still a drone. There's still a federal government. There's it's like I said at the beginning of the show. It's always backed by the threat of the force or violence, and that's the problem. You know what I mean? Whether you win the small battle or not, and that's what we're trying to do is change the ideology of how people, process those things. When people have their jaws open in court, it was probably a mix of I can't believe he said that, and this dude's wasting my time. I know the chick, 2 people behind me was shaking her head why are you doing this? I got to go. I'm trying to get back to work or whatever was on her mind, and she just couldn't see that, hey,
I'm surprised you didn't get anybody that said, why don't you show them some respect? I support these guys.
They're here to help you.
They probably figured that was a lost cause with the T-shirt and the tattoos.
Yeah.
I mean, not even Dio's buddy looked at, he wouldn't even look me in the eye.
Not all of us cop blockers can, have confusing tattoos like the word police tattooed on them twice. God, that it just ticks me off.
Cop block logo thing for the F the police shirt, and just get it filled in that way.
There you
Well,
go.
see, just to explain real quick, I'm a Doctor Who fan, as you can see, and I actually have this tattooed on my arm, and unfortunately, it says "Police Call Box" on top of it.
Oh well, that's different.
Yeah, so it's not like it's like police and hearts or anything like anything.
I was about to ask, but I really didn't want to get into it. I was like, man, I don't want to know why he has police tattooed on him twice.
Yeah, no, it is in no support of the police.
That's better. Okay, well that works. Yeah, I think that flies. I think
the SWAT team jacket tattooed to his body. Don't let him lie.
I mean, I have a cop tattooed on me, so who am I?
That's funny.
He's also dead.
We're coming up to the end of the show. I wanted to touch real quick on one more story that it was just too crazy not to mention. 175 DUI traffic cases were thrown out after a cop perjured himself. And this is out of North Carolina.
Oh, I thought that was my case. My bad.
I think it's the bigger story would be a cop not perjuring themselves.
Yeah.
A cop that told the truth all the time.
Yeah. I mean, whenever I'm at a trial, if I ever have a trial and cops are on the stand, I always ask them if they've ever broke the law. So you should always throw that into your questioning.
Well, I think that the awesome thing in this story is that the lawyer that was figuring out that got all these cases all thrown out, her name is Lori Freeman.
Oh, nice.
There she goes.
So she's
my aunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Family.
Right. How she achieved this?
I'm reading through it. The deputy was fired last week after Brewer highlighted 3 incidents which he made false statements on the witness stand in court documents. In August 2nd, 2014 incident, he stopped a woman for DWI, took her to the police department for a breath test, and the audio video monitored. According to the laws in the state, drivers can refuse tests or contact an attorney, and he refused. He forced the driver to get the testing anyway.
What the F?
And lied. But we're at the end of our show. You can find me at Lehigh Valley Cop Block on Facebook and on YouTube.
And I am Matt Taylor of Carbon County Cop Block. You can find me on Facebook and YouTube at Carbon County Cop Block, as well as find me on Monday nights at 9:30 p.m. for Cop Blast Podcast featuring Allentown Cop Block and Oath Accountability.
Word. And I'm a Damo, and I'm at copblock.org. I don't know if I get to speak.
Always go to copblock.org/store. We're out already, but go to the store. Right to you, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.